So here we are with the JA37 Viggen, and this thing has been a good plane. It's a great plane. I haven't had the best of luck with it because I kept getting focused, I kept getting run down by 6 people at once, kind of making it hard for me to get footage. But nevertheless, here we are. I got 130 kills on it, and I got a little bit of an opinion on it. But first, let's listen to this gun, because it sounds bloody fantastic. Things that make you come, just that. So before we start getting into actual gameplay that I want to show you, we have some burner footage, we have some highlights, then we get the full games, and then I have some defensive flying and just some defensive maneuvering as well. Later on I have a little bit of everything everywhere. I have it timestamped, but of course you can expect a little bit of everything everywhere. What is it like to fly this thing? And really this plane just has it all. It has flares, it has maneuverability, it keeps its speed, it has good missiles, it has 6 of them, it has a great gun. It's a little bit awkward to aim at times, and the stall characteristics are very bad. But I mean, who cares about stall characteristics at top tier, unless you're playing squadron battles maybe. But in Era B you will not be using it basically ever. The main strengths of this thing are the radar, the Skyflashes of course, you only get 2 opposed to the Phantom which get 4, but you also have a little bit of everything. You're maneuverable, you're fast, you have decent acceleration. Do keep in mind that your endurance is very low because of the fuel consumption, and I take the full tank just for that reason. You can burn it all off if you have the argument, take 40 minutes or 45 or whatever it is. You can also just take a little bit more and just afterburn a little bit more, because the fuel rate or the fuel amount doesn't really impact your plane too much, and you will burn it off so damn quickly that you can just kind of turn this thing into min fuel by just afterburning for 2 whole minutes. The nice thing about this plane is you can basically fly it however you want to. It will fit many roles. It's extremely good in dogfighting, it's extremely good in swiping, and it can just kind of do everything a little bit. And if you like that kind of thing, you will love this plane. This thing did not break top tier. This thing, there is no drama here, there is no clickbait here. This thing is actually very solid in a way that doesn't fuck with the entire dynamic of top tier. It just kind of got added without destroying the meta too much. You're free to think what you want, but I do think that these new radar missiles have no place in this game. But that's just my opinion. And the reason I'm showing you this clip is because I managed to dog 2 people with a single burst of the gun, which is, I think, pretty rare. But before we start taking the Viggen into an actual match, we need to set up a few things and we need to understand a few things. First things first, the loadout, I run air targets, I run these on mix because I want an even distribution of chaff and flares. Flares priority was what I'm initially using, and you will see this throughout the video as well. But I switched to mixed because it will pop 1 of each and you'll get more pops opposed to this one, because here you will pop 3 countermeasures per pop and here you will only pop 2. So all in all, I do think that this is a little bit better. If you have a better experience with a different one, feel free to use so. I am using air targets. This thing hits like a truck, you'll see that plenty as well. No real troubles with air targets. Maybe ground is better for ground RB, but I focus on air RB, so you will not be seeing me use this. For the missiles, you have a split. I'm kind of torn between the RB24Js and the Skyflashes, or the AIM 7 E2s, which are identical right now. Might change in the future, but as of this recording, they are the same missile. Or you can run 6 of these. I will opt to use these, however, because these 2 are almost always usable, whereas these are a little bit more circumstantial. Of course, these are great missiles and are very viable almost all of the time, but sometimes having a little bit of diversity is always a good thing. For the fuel load, I do run a full tank, and we will go into a test drive now. Just to give you a quick rundown of what radar scopes I use and how to change the parameters. So you want to go to controls, you want to go to radar. I have everything on my numpad, everything you need anyway. Write this down, remember it, whatever you want to do, because I'll be talking in the numbers to make it a little bit easier, because I don't know what I'm actually pressing, I just know what it does. So, we're on the runway, normally you take off, blah blah blah, doesn't matter. For the ease of it, I will just show you what I'm using. So I will press 7 first. We'll narrow the scope a little bit vertically, but it makes the sweep just that tiny bit faster, which I value a lot more. Then we'll press 8. Increasing the range to 30 kilometers, because I think that 10 kilometers is barely your view range. Sure, the maps aren't very big, but 10 kilometers is just a pitiful amount. And then I will press 6 for the pulse Doppler. And I do that because the pulse Doppler, especially early game, is extremely powerful. And that's simply because, well, they will fly directly towards you most of the time at the start. And that's where the pulse Doppler shines, because the pulse Doppler radar is extremely easy to notch. And if you aren't aware what notching is, I will show you exactly that on this MiG-15 BIS. I will also show you some live examples, of course, in the video itself. But let's start with this test flight, because it shows it a little bit easier. So we are starting now. I'm gonna press my 9 key, the target acquisition key. And this guy will start flying away from me. Right now I get a lock. You see he turns in. I miss the lock now. I don't have it anymore. I switch to the normal radar. Boom. Instant lock. And that's what the pulse Doppler does. It will get a track when it comes directly at you. It will not get a track when it flies side to side. Of course, when he starts flying away from me again, I can of course do it. Turn the pulse Doppler back on. But at this point, he can start turning and we get the exact same problem. Say you're locking someone at higher altitudes, like that guy over there. The target acquisition will only work out to 10 kilometers, so I will turn that off. I will lock him with my 5 key, and now he is locked. No reason for me to do this, so I will break lock, go to the search radar, turn the acquisition on, and now we have a lock. No reason to use a pulse Doppler radar when he is at high altitude, because there is no ground interference to really mess up your lock. So use pulse Doppler at lower altitudes when people come straight at you, straight away from you, but do keep in mind it's extremely easy to notch, and it will make you waste a missile. Now let's go into some live gameplay and I'll show you exactly some of these things. Here we are, live example of the radar. I see a guy with smoke on, he's high. I have my pulse Doppler on at this point, which is a bad thing. I'm going to be locking him up, he's about to get in range. There we go, we get a lock. I'm going to be locking him up and I shoot a missile at him. He instantly starts notching, as you can tell. And the radar loses track. I quickly changed the acquisition mode. I will go to a normal radar and will reacquire the target. In this instance the missile didn't actually hit and he flew away to then kill my team. But you know, it's about the radar. The missile couldn't pull that because he notched it well properly. He was too far away and he noticed that the missile was coming in. And here we are with the first fight. We get an F4E and an FGR on us. I cannot outrun these guys, but I can try to make them bored of me. FGR luckily breaks off and now we'll start the tango with the F4E. I can win the dogfight. I'm pretty low on fuel because I already burned most of it. So I'm not really too worried about dogfighting this guy. At this point it's simply a matter of flying away from him to get the most amount of distance between me and the FGR, but I don't want to wait too long because then the FGR gets into position quicker as well. So it's a little bit of a trade-off. I'm just trying to get in position here. I will start turning in. I don't have to cut my afterburner here. I need some speed to go into the merge. This is way too steep for the missile to pull. So I'm not really too worried. This thing is not going to rip, so I'm going to be starting to pull up here. Cut the throttle a little bit. Slow down. You do not have the thrust reversal in the mid-air anymore. We go 800. I'm getting in position. I'm very solidly on the 6 right now. I blow myself up with the gun because that's just a bug right now. And he is instantly reversed. And the second you get onto 1.6 for this thing, most planes are not going to get away from you. Here we are, another fight. F4E as well as a MiG-23. It's an EJ, so he doesn't have the Agile Eagle package, making him a little bit less of a threat. But there's 3 guys here. And, well, I was going to say a teammate. He just died. So we start off locking the MiG-21. Because he's the easiest target here. But I don't have the right missile selected. I don't get a lock. Lock the MiG-23 instead. And we go for the EJ. MiG-23 should be dead. He doesn't have the most amount of countermeasures. So I'm just going to go for the secure kill. Miss the EJ. And we're going to be turning back in here. Razor coming back in with his F104. So now it's 2 on 2 again. And he's going to be dragging one of them away from me. EJ is setting back up for an attack as well as the MiG-21. So for now I'm just keeping my speed really to see what they are going to do. Going on with the MiG-21. Not really worried about the water pistol in the handle. Shoot a flare in case I didn't see the other missile. Pull into the EJ, dodge his guns. And we are going to be starting a little bit of a dogfight here. Razor will come back any second now. There he is. And he will start pushing the MiG-21 away from me, leaving me to dogfight the EJ. And I can very handily win versus an E. This thing without the Agile Eagle package is really not that much of a threat. And you can tell that in about 2 turns we just go vertical. He's out of speed, I'm in position, I have the angle here. There we go. And he is dead. Shoot his wingtip off. He's going to be stalling out here. He's going to go into a flat spin, shoot a little bit more, get a hit marker. He is going to be flying into the ground after I miss another 50 rounds on him. And he goes, well, and die. Took a little bit. I'm not going to pretend I didn't miss half my ammo there. But it's a little bit of a, well, the video is going on long enough and I'd rather show you something interesting. A5 coming in, target acquisition on with the pulse Doppler. We are at low altitude, wait a little bit, shoot it with the burner still on. He is not dodging that. I stayed in the head-on as long as possible because he wants to recommit as well, maybe think he can get a gun kill on me. He's not getting it, but by doing so he will fly directly into the missile. Jaguar misses dodges the head-on. I shoot a little bit, nowhere near shooting him. Not sure why I even squeezed the trigger. Maybe I thought that some desync would kill him, but I really had no reason to actually shoot that. Right now I'm gonna be flying away because there's an F4E coming in again, and there's two Jaguars. One of them is a Jaguar A, and I do not want to get a magic shot on my ass because that's just not good for your health. So I'm flying away for now. I already turned my target acquisition on the HCM mode with the pulse Doppler. I'm kind of waiting for the Jaguars to get some distance, and then I will start turning around. Get as much distance as possible. See that he starts breaking off, I will instantly re-engage, because most people, if you instantly turn back in, they will come back for you as well. So now it's a fair head-on. Target acquisition mode is still on ACM. But looking at this, I'm not actually going to be dealing with him. That missile is not going to be turning in. Pop some flares just to be sure. And we dodge his gun here. Same thing as before, we cut throttle, we get in front of him. We dodge his guns, he's not hitting that. And now we are right next to each other. I'm a little bit slower, but I'm going to be a hell of a lot more maneuverable. So I'm just going to be throttling back up. Use the energy retention that this thing has. Go horizontal for a little bit, check if there's anyone coming near. He's stalling out right above me. I will be pitching up here. Camera is going to be kind of annoying, but I shot just before it flipped. And it worked out alright. 8 minutes of fuel left here, which is basically a minute on burner. And there's two Phantoms right ahead of me. Shoot the missile. Still off burner, because this guy is extremely heavy. He just took off. He has a speed back, but he kind of cranked the missile, which is another term I will explain later on. I will probably make a video on all radar shit and the top tier in general. Second F4E is now also taking off. Right now I'm in a flat turn raid fight with this F4E. He is not going to be winning it in any stretch of the imagination. He flies directly ahead of me because he's just simply way too heavy with fuel right now. Spray a little bit, shoot him out of the air, and I can't actually re-engage with the F4E now, so I have to fly away, showing him my ass, which is anything but ideal. Luckily I'm on very low fuel, which is a little bit of a double-edged sword at this point because I have about 30 seconds of burner left. So we get back up to speed, go about 800, turn the burner back off, drop flash preemptively in case he shoots a missile. Rather not have him lock me at all than fool the missile afterwards. He does a flat turn and he flies directly from my guns and he goes into the water. And there you have it. A few games later, because of course we have quite a few games for today. A5, not the biggest threat, huge duck. Haha, funny meme I guess. And I want to show you this for a very specific reason. It's not about the A5 that I just missiled, it's about the MiG-23 that's now behind me. That's something you want to be aware of. The MiG-23 as well as the MiG-27 got R60Ms, which are all aspect. Not the biggest problem in the world if you have flares, if you don't, it's somewhat annoying. Right now I'm just building up a little bit of distance. Pulse Doppler is on. And we are going to be turning in once I reach about 5.7, 5.6. There we go. And we are going to be pushing ahead on. The MiG-23 as well as the MiG-27 now get, of course, those missiles. So you want to pre-flare so you don't get slammed by one. Shoot in the head on, shoot his wing off. His missile misses because my heat signature is all the way in the back of my plane. He's coming front aspect. I pop one flare, the missile will always, not always, almost always go directly for it. I keep keeping the MiG-27 locked up here. Just in case that guy doesn't have missiles, he's stock or whatever, he shoots it off, I instantly just disengage. No real reason for me to pursue that kill, because he was gonna be dead. MiG-27 down, and now we are gonna be locking up this F4E. Get the missile. I have the wrong missile selected. There we go, missile out, keep him locked up, go head on as long as possible, boom, dead. And there we go, that's a Skyflash. Now we will continue extending towards the middle of the map. Koppen gets slammed. Other guy gets team killed. Very cool. So that's two guys out of the game. Shield 13 and ahead of me, not really on board my ammo, so I'm just gonna be ignoring him. F1 coming in, lock him up, pulse Doppler up, lock him, lead the missile a little bit, shoot it off, He doesn't crank that, he is going to die. He pulls back in for the head-on, and there he goes. And now we have a lot of guys on the left, 4 of them to be exact, and we need to start helping our team out. Viggen 1 goes down, and now it's 3v4. Luckily it's EJ's, an FG1 and a MiG-23. The MiG-23 with those R60s, R60Ms is quite a little bit more powerful. Go head on, dodge head on 1, dodge head on 2, and we are going to be extending out here. Make sure that that MiG-23 doesn't drop back on us. FG1 goes down and the EJ goes down, but we also lose a teammate. R60 on R6. Don't really have to worry about him, but I'm gonna flare anyway just to be sure. I'm out of range, I'm outrunning him, so I don't need to cut my afterburner because I'd rather outrun the missile than try to outpull it. EJ ahead of us, MiG-23 behind us. It's kind of crucial that I kill this guy right here because I can't really start turning, but he will catch me in the long run. So I want to make sure that this EJ dies. I don't want to keep chasing him because the longer I do that, closer the MiG-23 is going to get. So I shoot a missile, even if it's just to make him turn, make him flare, make him do something. He turns in. We get a crit with the gun, crit his wing. I think I'll shoot his rudder off. We have ample distance here. I'm going to pre-flare just in case he shoots a missile at me. Turn back in on the EJ. The MiG-23 is now behind me. He's doing a full turn. I actually somehow missed that. And we are going to be extending out again. JA37 is going very slow there. And I'm kind of worried he's going to get clapped here. But I can't turn around right now because the MiG-23 at low speed, especially if he starts on your 6, you are not going to be doing much versus it. At higher speeds you can completely outpull it and you can make him rip and you can make it so that you get the upper hand. The second you start going at those low speed raid fights, you are completely boned. So I don't want to start fighting him at higher speeds. JA37 cleans up the EJ and I'm going to be starting a dogfight with the MiG-23. I'm going to make him compress a little. He's going to be folding out his wings. I'm going to be using the fact that his wings are folding out a little bit because he is going to maintain quite a bit of speed here and he's going to be ending up right ahead of me. R60 goes out in the head-on, slams the JA37 and now I'm directly on a 6. No real reason to shoot that missile other than just get it off my rails, get a little bit of an advantage. I still have another 2 left anyway, so I'm really not worried about the amount that I have. He goes vertical, I shoot my gun, he gets crit, and well, we finish him off with a missile, and that's going to be game number 1. And now we are going to be starting to talk about some defensive things as well as some average gameplay that I had. Go ahead on with an FGR. After pulls Doppler on, he's coming directly towards me. He's not dodging that if he's not paying attention, and down he goes. And now we want to engage the fullball down below again, because of course you need to assist your team a little bit. We get an FGR2 coming for us, and he already shot a missile at me. You can see it right underneath my plane there. I saw it just in time. That would have completely ruined my day. I didn't see the first one being launched, and that already almost put me in the ground. Second missile will not catch me because I'm already depleting it of all of its energy, and there goes the second one. FGR2 number 2. Seeing if anyone wants to break off here. Doesn't look like they want to, so I want to be turning right underneath him. That's not pulling in. Turn the afterburner off for the decrease of heat signature as I flare, just to be safe. The retention of this thing is good enough anyway. This guy's going to be turning right in my guns. Yeah, you thought, I missed. Very unfortunate, he should have been dead there, but my aim failed me once again. I haven't really played in 2 weeks other than those duels, and my skill is definitely rusty. But no biggie right now. I am able to get away from them, I'm able to reset my speed, and I'm able to get back into position. So I'm going to be doing a slow turn here. I don't want to afterburn the entire time, but also I'm just kind of indecisive here. There's no real reason for me to turn it back on and off, but I'm just thinking, should I turn it off to conserve fuel? But then I'm like, I'm not that fast yet, and I want to make sure that these guys are not going to be slamming me. The guy starts shooting radar missiles at me with his pulse Doppler, so I go sideways here, break the lock, at least for the missile. We go head on, we start a turn, look around, make sure that I don't get jumped by someone else. The map is full of AI, so I don't know which one is an AI and which one isn't. FRE coming back in, he shoots a missile at me, we narrowly dodge it, turn the afterburner off in case it's A9J. Shoot the missile at him, he goes down, and the guy behind me gets slammed by Razor, who just came head on with me. And he was more defensive flying. we are behind an FGR2 and we have an F4 EJ on our 6. Not the biggest problem in the world, but the second I break off, that FGR will re-engage me and I will be tangled up with the EJ. If that FGR was closer, I would have shot a missile, making it so that he couldn't turn around instantly. But we are not in such a position, so we are just stalling for right now, hoping that the EJ breaks off. He doesn't seem to be breaking off. He's catching me now, so very little chance he will. Taking a look at him, see if he actually wants to start fighting me. Push him away as far as I can, while also letting the EJ get a little bit closer. So now we have 8 kilometers to dogfight this guy. We start the turn, we are getting in position, and I will absolutely ruin this guy's day in a dogfight. The thing is, the FGR is also coming in, so instead I want to turn under the EJ. He will have to break off because he will slam into the ground. He's going straight for a little bit, and I will reset in the different position. Start cranking his missile, or notching his missile rather. We break the lock. His missile is away. We now get directly in front of him, but at least we defeated the radar missile. AIM-9G is not going to be pulling into that. We go vertical. If he sticks it, he dies. He doesn't stick it, and instead he turns around towards my team. And sure, I didn't kill anyone, but what we did do was survive the engagement. JA37 is going to be eating him up, and now we are going to be going to my average experience, which is 4 guys in the 6. And how are you dodging all these missiles, you might ask? Well, it's a matter of knowing their missiles and knowing what you can and can't do. The F1 is out of range with his 9Js, and the F8U is shooting 9Gs at me, which have an horrendously big flaw, which is it leads you too much because it's such a fast missile. So you make it pull one way and then you roll out of the way. And the beauty of this plane is that you can do that maneuver because it simply doesn't rip. We go up, we go the other way, we roll the other way, and it cannot pull in. F4C shooting AIM-9Es at me, not really a big thing, not really a big problem. That F8U is probably going to be shooting another missile at me. And if he does, then well, I will dodge it the exact same way. F4C is on me, F8U breaks off, F1 breaks off, dodge another AIM-9E. And now we are going to be going defensively versus the F4C. And the reason I put this at the end is because, well, it's not the biggest show of skill, but it's just something I want to show you. F4C breaks off, I pretend to break back into his gun. He misses. We lure him into a dogfight, we get him as close as possible. We just pull out of the way again because the F4C is an absolute shit brick. He starts to turn away now, and at this point he is already dead. If anything, he should have continued that way because he would have got me into AA range, but thank you for not doing so. And he is not going to be dodging that because he's an F4C. And now you might ask, what happened right after that? Well, I died horribly and I ate shit. Another game, this is a little bit more offensively and defensively because sometimes, you know, you just make a mistake, you go head on and you get in a very bad spot. Didn't shoot the missile there because I was expecting that A5C to eat him up. Shoot a missile at him. And now we are kind of in this position where I want to turn around, but if I do it right now, I get everyone on my 6. So it's just a matter of having to push through, shoot a few rounds, crit him, keep on pushing through, keep on going straight in, and try to dodge as many people as possible. Guys everywhere, F5 coming for me right now. But now I can finally turn around, and now I can finally get out of here. Hunter is not going to be an issue, and I'm going to be extending towards the other part of the map. Pre-fly a little bit because I'm actually not sure what F5 that is. I need to know if it's an AIM-9E or an AIM-9J. Looks to be a 5C. There he goes. He dies. And now we are just going to be extending here and looking around, seeing if I can find anyone. And there's an F4C right ahead of us. And that's essentially the end of the video. There's not much more to show you. That's all the footage that I got for you. I'm going to be cleaning these two guys up. I will be flying the MiG-27 here soon. And I will probably start on an actual top tier guide because there's a lot to talk about, and I want to start comparing some of the planes as well because it's actually getting fleshed out to a very big degree. So there's actually something to cover now. I still think it's a little bit of a shit show, mainly because of the size of the maps and the amount of missiles and the amount of people that are on it. But you know, you can't have it all. We'll see when I start. I'm not sure if I'm motivated enough to do it anyway. I'm gonna try to be motivated, but of course it's been a hard thing for me lately, and we'll see where I'm getting. Haven't really played the game in 4 weeks. Didn't really do me any bad things. Kind of liked it, but now I just have to kind of get back into the things. And here we go, 7 missiles going for the same guy. a little bit excessive, but you know, that's what top tier is. Hope you enjoyed it, hope it's helpful, and I will see you all in the next one.